right now. Boom! On the
Okay.
TruMon show with my great brother PT. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything good. Like everything. Yeah.
Great, perfect.
So
T- Today we're gonna keep going, of course, with the book again, the
yes.
PT's book,
Yeah.
uh, scriptures for the now, and we're gonna. I think we were at mute idols. That's what I told you. I wasn't sure exactly where we were
Yes.
in our thing, but we're gonna go with the mute idols. That I think that's what we were, and that's
Yes.
the thing today. And that's what I think. That's part of the big. Mess that's going on here is that we praise people. I don't think sometimes we praise people that are lower in consciousness than us even.
Yes.
I
Yes.
realize
Yes.
that people that are more fucked up than us, if I can
Yeah.
say it
Because
the right way.
it's a push by the system. Whatever is pushed by the system.
Yeah.
People respond to whatever is pushed by the system. So someone else chooses those people, and people have to. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
PT, it's not only musicians. We can involve also speakers and fake
yeah.
gurus and
Yeah. Yeah. Everything in mute idols are meant like even stones, like people worshiping. Yeah,
storms.
stones. Yeah, yeah, like like people go to temples or like churches or idols, and which is inanimate objects.
Okay, yeah,
Inanimate
yeah, yeah.
objects. Yeah, like which obviously will not say anything back to you. So you can say anything. There'll be no. It'll
Okay,
be
yeah,
one-way
yeah, I
traffic.
get what you mean. Like
It,
Jesus on the cross.
yeah, yeah, whatever. Like different idols which are used all around the world. Like not one specific. Everywhere in the world.
Everywhere.
Like
Yeah.
everywhere, and then they are used, and people because it doesn't talk back to you, so like it's easy. Like
That's the thing, eh? I
yeah,
always found that weird that we were going in front of statue and stuff like that and praising them and like,
yeah,
what do
yeah,
you want them to answer you? Ne?
yeah, but they don't answer, so it's a one-way traffic, it's a one-way conversation, so
Yeah,
it suits people because then they don't get any feedback.
exactly.
so
Eh? No
so
feedback for
so
their
so that's
action.
yeah, 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 or what they're saying. Like if it's a living entity, if you say something, you will get some response as per what you say, right? Like that's the thing. In that case, that pressure is not there, so like it's not
Exactly.
going to say anything. So that's why it's mute idle, like it's
Yeah,
it's
mute.
not going
Okay,
to
I
say.
get what you mean now. The mute idol. I don't think I
Yeah,
was fully comprehending that one, but now you just put some
yeah,
more clarity on it, and I'm sure
yeah, yeah,
others
yeah,
also that read your book will be very delighted to hear all you have to say about it because now
yeah,
we're
yeah.
getting clarity directly from the author himself. So that's great.
Yes, yeah.
God and pain. Next, God and pain. One of the biggest misconception. God is in everyone, everywhere, everything. Explain this, PT.
Yes. Okay. The thing is that there's a creation, like we have creation. Okay. Okay. So people misunderstand creation with this term which is very god, like like which is like divine. Let's use the word divine. Like okay, the creation is created by divine doesn't mean that everything in it is divine. Okay, so so it's a creation, it's created, like but it doesn't mean that things can't go in ways where it's not following the divine law or not following the natural law. Things can go like that. So even though it's part of creation, in creation that is possible. Okay, that possibility is there in creation. Okay, so to call like that like this action is also divine action, it's not, because divine is doesn't have some, like for example pain, like like the creation was not created for pain. Creation was in first created for pleasure and experience, but pleasurable experience, not painful experience. Okay, so but the pain factor has come in since the laws have been broken and all kinds of things have been done. So that is part of it now. But one can't say that is the like a divine thing. Like divine actually doesn't want anyone to be in pain. I mean, because the whole creation was not created for pain. It was created for having experiences, different experiences, but pleasurable experiences. Okay, so
But that's it.
so
Where
like
life is meant to be
yeah,
lived.
yeah,
It's meant to be lived, not to
yeah,
be in a cage,
yeah,
invisible cage.
yeah, 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 and like the pain part, like obviously in a lot of in the Western, like like they have things like no pain, no gain, and they have all these sayings, like which confuse people, you know. So those kind of things have to be obviously addressed, and people have to be told that what actually divine is about, and divine is definitely not about pain, so like,
Yeah, I don't think
yeah,
pain is absolutely necessary on this realm to activate something, but due to the system, baby loan, baby land,
yeah.
sometimes a bit of pain, a bit of trauma, a bit of suffering have the power also to
It
put
has the
someone
power to
on
obviously
track.
turn people towards the right direction, because once you go in the wrong direction and you get the consequences in form of pain, then you can reevaluate your decision, and you
Yeah.
can reevaluate whether you want to go down that road more or not. Like,
Oh, so you come to an
yeah,
intersection.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah. So
intersection of your life.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So then you have to reevaluate basically. So pain is obviously, like I said before, like uh, in hell, everybody becomes a good person. You know.
Okay, but it has to be a conscious decision also to reevaluate, because it's not because you have a
Yeah.
tragedy happening to you that you're gonna be more
No,
aware
it
or
is
wake
conscious.
up or whatever.
Yeah. But imagine if some tragedy is happening continuously all the time to some person, then they will do it anyways. Like, I mean, it's just that like it doesn't happen so extreme in this realm we are in. Like it's not one after the other continuously all the time. If it was like that, then everybody will reevaluate. Everyone will reevaluate. So, like,
Yeah, and
so
do
what
you?
I'm saying is, when people have got any freedom, any time, or any freedom, or any free will, or anything, people misuse that. Okay, so pain is just nature's way of pointing out, you know, action, and this is the consequence. So
Yeah, it's the
yeah,
byproduct of your
yeah,
insanity. No?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
byproduct of our
yeah,
insanity, pain and torture.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
Hey, what a good time to talk about the next one, the Santa Claus notion. Okay, there are many here who think
Yes.
feel that because that's a good time. It's been yesterday. What I
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
that
Just
it's
last.
not like PT. I don't think it's a period of the year that we should not celebrate. Me, I see it as the coming back of the sun, like the rebirth of the sun. We're gonna be in summer again soon. That's what I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
excited for. Not for the
yeah,
I get excited for the present, but the present moment. Not pas un cadeau en dessous de
yeah,
l'arbre, but not a gift
yeah,
under the tree. Like the gift, I
yeah,
had it already. The gift, I won the lotto. The gift, the everything, the jackpot, I have it already. What I'm waiting for under
yes,
the tree, like it makes no sense. But celebrating the
yeah,
sun and all this makes great sense. So tell me a bit your Santa Claus
yeah.
notion. How you?
Santa Claus is like, I mean, it's a kind of a thing in the West which gives you a thing about wishing. Like you wish for a gift, you wish, and somebody will come and fulfill your wish. Okay, like this notion is very dangerous, because you wish means you'll wish for something, but you'll not have to do anything for it. Somehow something in a beard, a white beard, and that thing will come and fulfill all your wishes without you having to do anything for it. It which creates a very strange mentality, which in the long run creates a brattiness, and it creates a wrong attitude towards life and existence. So I think that is like a mental programming which is done from like when people are very young, like from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which stays, and people find it hard to break it in the West. This kind of programming which happens with the so
Yeah,
so
because
Santa. Yeah, yeah,
we start with Santa Claus when we're young, and then when we don't accept Santa Claus no more, it's the church or the preacher or someone else. Like there,
yeah,
it
yeah.
seems like there's always something to capture our soul if we don't free it
Yeah.
from that kind of oppression.
Because the claws are there, like, I mean, because claws means, claws.
Santa Claus.
Claws because the thing is, once you get caught in that cycle of like just wanting, wishing, you'll always get caught, and there'll be a bill afterwards, but you're not shown the bill. So so once you take the wish and you accept the thing, then you are taken by that. The clause have happened to you. You are in its clause now, because you'll have to pay for this thing
Bye.
which you are. Yeah,
That's it.
so that's what it means actually. So I mean, it's a very like at a basic psychological level, it's a sort of a bondage, a bondage at a psychological level. So like,
It,
which
it
people are trained into from
yeah,
young age. Yeah.
yeah, it's a bondage, but it's like you're bound to the fantasy.
Yes.
Fantasy is fantasy. What's the point of living a fantasy? Like,
Yes. And also it gives you the thing of wishing, that wishing is okay,
yeah,
that it's good to wish, it's okay to wish. All the Disney films also, like Wish Upon a Star, Wish Upon this, Wish, like there's a lot of wishing in all the Disney things, and all of that thing, and the same, the Santa Claus, everything is about wishing. Like you put your like socks out and you wish that something will be in them next morning. Like it's all like about wishing. So that is where the problem is here, psychologically. So
I find those words very interesting. Wish, which. All these words, they all sound like which.
yeah, but the thing is, which is still means which, like like which thing, what thing, like which thing, like which. But wish in Sanskrit, it comes from Sanskrit, and Sanskrit it means poison.
Ah, there you go.
Wish means poison in Sanskrit. Okay, so like, to wish is a poisonous thing. Actually, it's poisonous. To want is something different. When you want something, that's different, because when you want something, you're ready to do something for it to get
Like
it.
you make it
Wishing
happen.
is, yeah, wishing is like where you just wish, but you don't do anything. You just wish for it to happen. I mean,
And I think
wishing is a, yeah, very poisonous concept. Yeah,
it's what's happening also. People wish to make a change, that the world change, but most people just accumulate information really without taking action. Like most
yeah,
people are on the internet just collecting information, hoarding information before they
yeah,
go into action and be the realizator and the director instead of the
yeah.
spectator. And
Yeah. But the point is that for that, you have to start action, right? You
oh,
can't
yeah,
just
it's
wish.
action. You got to face yourself too.
Yeah, yeah. Wishing doesn't do anything. Wishing is not
Yeah.
anything. People are caught in that cycle, and I think the Santa Claus thing is part of that cycle,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
for
part
sure.
of that programming. It's part of that big part of that programming. Like, so it's a thing which we people have to finally understand, that it's a matter of doing, not wishing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
the next one is also it sparked a lot of stuff in my head there for sure. God's misimage. Okay, because often, okay, if we talk about God or we talk about like often in my life, I heard about alien taking form in human body and stuff like that. Like it's complete fantasy. But
yeah,
I see God taking place here on earth or the divine in a human body. But we're
yeah,
not abilitated, I think, with our confused mind or ego and stuff to recognize divine into another being. I think it's the ego. And that's even me. And I put myself in there. It's very hard. Like PT, I see you very, very divine. I don't know. I
yeah,
might have a children of God directly sent to me here on YouTube, but I don't see it like I. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. But the thing is, for all of that, because there's a programming and stuff which people have teachers at school, for example. Okay, now you're supposed to look at those teachers at school, right? They are supposedly teaching you something. They're supposed to teach you something, right? But those beings are not what they should be for teaching you. Like, they are not qualified actually to teach you. So then your whole sense of what is uh, qualified goes. What is actually qualified to teach me, or you that sense finishes because of this whole school system, this fake school system. This sense actually finishes. So once, like, we get out of that school system mentality, then the things get more clearer. actually. So people have lost that, and then on top of that, they spread this lie in school that everyone is equal and everyone is that thing. When that's not so. Like, it's different. What they're trying to tell you is totally different. Yeah, just because somebody has two eyes, one nose, and two hands and two legs, it doesn't mean it's the same thing. I mean, so
Right.
it's yeah, yeah,
Many of time,
yeah,
those teachers,
yeah,
they should teach
yeah,
themselves first. And there's something to
yeah,
learn about life, and it's not just in the government's book and stuff like that. So yeah, so no,
yeah, yes.
that's
So people
huh?
idea about things, from those fake teachers, not so real teachers. So then the sense of respect and real that thing goes away from early age. So you're not that thing. You don't understand the concept anymore. That what is actually something which is qualified and actually in that position to actually teach you. So which concept is very important in this multiverse. So I mean, and they have I find it is deliberately creating a disrespectful vibe in this whole paradigm. All the things people see on TV, people see everything, and it creates a sense of disrespect as a whole. Then you don't have to respect anything, anyone, any higher being. You don't have to. There is no higher. you know so all this is done so that people will never evolve finally. Okay, what is the point of all of that? Point is that they will not evolve. They will not get to a point where they will actually accept reality. And because if you accept there's higher and divine, then only you will start evolving. If you don't think there's anything else or anything, you are the best and that's what it is, then you just stay at your state and you go down from there. There's no other point for you to reach, basically. There is. So they don't give you any kind of goal towards bettering yourself and raising yourself, actually raising yourself. They don't give you any kind of goal for that. For that, first you have to accept there is higher. If everyone is equal, then no one needs to do anything. Like, right? Like, no, there's no point of doing nothing and just like have your drinks and be merry, like
but it's the conditioning also, like you say. We go to school. Why do we go to school for so long if it's not to condition us to think a certain way? And
yeah,
to see those people that because you bring them very young at 5 year old in front of an
yeah,
adult that teach them things, so the
yeah,
children are very often like impressed by adult, and especially if they teach them things like they're very
yeah,
innocent. So the conditioning starts so young. If you have I think
yeah,
maybe if you have parents that are a little bit more aware and know what's going
yeah,
on, maybe
yeah,
you
yeah,
cannot like I'm a bit
yeah,
aware and I let my children know all the stuff that I realize. So I don't think they go in there with as much a confused mind than the others. Like when
yeah.
you have a bit of awareness of what's going on,
Yeah, but it's happening in
rage
the
against
so-called
them.
it's happening in the so-called truther community as well. There's truther community online now on
Yeah,
YouTube. They're also saying, everybody's saying, oh, we are all equal. There's no higher. I mean, they just want to make up a team of sorts. I mean, like you can make up any kind of team, like, but like if you have 1,000 confused people, that doesn't mean the truth is going to come out, or some kind of solution is going to come out of 1,000 confused people. You can have 10,000 confused people, you can have 100,000 confused people, but solution will not come out of that. you know I mean, that's what they're trying to do in the truth community as well. They keep on with the same pattern, what is there. I mean, and they think that they're going against the system. Okay, but they're actually playing into the hands of the system straight. That's what the system wants. The system doesn't want them to think that there is any higher and divine. Like, and that's what exactly these people are doing. So, like, I mean, so then the whole sense of respect and these values towards higher and divine, how to behave and what to do, action basically, that is gone. Like, that's not going to be there. And one can see that in all of this through the community as well online right now. And you must have seen yourself, I mean, because you are always dealing with these people. So, so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think we're all lost in the abyss of unawareness pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless you
Yeah.
take the desire to swim out of there, but it's a deep hole. Sometimes you're
Yeah, but
stuck deep, and
it's an acceptance of like that there can be higher forces than yourself. Okay, that there are higher forces than yourself. I mean, it's not so hard to understand that. Like, I mean, it's not, you know, you're not at the, and especially when you are so lost, when you're so that thing, it should breed humility, right? That's what all this state you are in shows you, that you have to be humble. Okay, like, because if you're lost, that means you have to have humility. I mean, if you were not lost, then I mean, people will be even more proud, and wonder how proud they would be then, like when they are so proud when they are lost. Yeah.
but that's what it is. It's like we're coherent, but with the lower self, and we're happy with
Yeah.
this, and we're energizing this, and we think it's the
Yeah.
whole thing. But there's something much bigger with life. Like life is bigger than my life. I've done nothing here so far. If you think I've
Yeah.
done something here on the internet, I've done nothing. It's a brand new day,
Yeah.
brand new
Yeah.
celebration. We're waking
Yes.
up. It's a like so you have to have that desire to evolve also, and not
Yeah.
be so stuck.
Yeah, but for that one has to accept the fact that there is a higher state. Like, if one doesn't accept that in the first place, and then one says there can be no being at a higher state, or there is no being, that's not, it's not factual, it's not real. Like, and one has to accept those facts, like Jim saying that one is not the a peak of creation, like, you know.
That
Yeah.
one has to learn, has to evolve,
Yeah.
has to
Yeah.
find a
Yeah.
great teacher, and
Yeah.
often
Yeah.
it's other people. Like it's other people who teach you in life. It's not so much life. If it's life is our best teacher, we would have learned by now. Like I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but the point is that is to create humility, a sense of humility. All this structure, all this problem, all this trouble, all this thing is to teach you humility, that you are not in charge. Okay, so, like, and then if you, from that point to get in charge, you need to learn. Okay, and then for that you will have to accept that there's some beings who know more than you. Okay, and for that you will have to accept all these things and behave accordingly. And and the behavior part, I told you, like, it's all like, the way they program on TV kids, like how to be, like, walk like hip hop people or this way in disgraceful ways and things like that. Everything is to create a sense of antagonism towards higher and divine. If you behave like that towards any higher and divine, you will basically get yourself into trouble. Everything which is taught to people out here is to get them into trouble, basically. That's exactly the point of it, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
so, like,
but
it's,
sometimes you're
yeah.
at places you're deeply in trouble and you don't know you're in
Yeah.
trouble. Like if you're distracted all your life, you're in big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but you don't see it because you're distracted and you think that's everything in life.
Yeah. 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 And but the consequences come, and people think that's normal too. And then they say, like, okay, consequences come, pain comes, torture comes. They think that's normal too. They say it's part of life. You know, they say it's just part of life. It's not like that. It's not part of anything. You are making it. That's why it's happening. It's not
Yeah.
a part of something. Like, it's you are creating that. It's nothing which is part of anything. So,
No,
yeah.
you're creating your own hell and you're creating your own heaven. You're like, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
everything is here and
Yeah.
now. It's up to you to take
Yeah.
conscious decision also.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what's happening also, it's they want gods of their liking.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you say here. Not
Yeah.
that they don't want, they don't talk about God, they don't talk about, but they want it to fit their parameter, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's
Then.
very true. And you can notice that often everywhere.
Yeah. Yes. It's and for that, that means you are more intelligent
Exact.
than that God and divine. If it is gonna fit your parameters, that means it is lower than you. Like, it doesn't have anything on top of you which it can sort of perceive, and it has to fit your perception. So that means you are greater than it. Like, like, if it has to be your conception and conceived notion, basically. So, and that is like putting it down. That's another way of putting down. That's what I'm saying. It's another way of getting into trouble with Iron Divine. It's like another way of, like, getting into trouble with it. Like, so,
Because
and
you
people do that.
rebel against it and you don't know also. Like
Yeah.
I that's what happened in my life pretty much, no, without, because you don't take a stand, you don't raise your voice, you don't, you energize lies, you energize deceptions and stuff
Yeah.
without
Yes.
awareness. and you have that gift of self-awareness. It comes with your being. You should be aware. It if you're not aware, don't
Yeah,
blame it on the government, on other. Blame it on you. Take the blame and make a change. That's what I say all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, because all of the system and structure and all of that is to train you a certain way. Okay, that's a training program. Okay, it's to train you a certain way. Okay, now, but you yourself are your trainer, so you can decide what training you want to undergo. Basically, you have to decide what training you want to go undergo their training, which will create this kind of thing for you, or you can train yourself in your own way, which is not part of. So that will be a real rebellion from the system, which the truther community should be doing, but that's exactly what they don't do. You know, they their whole training still stays a system training, and then they think that they're going against the system. You're not really going against the system unless you change the basic core. What is the system for? I'm saying in one sentence, the system is there to make sure that you misbehave with higher and divine. Okay, that's what the system is for. Okay, it's created for that purpose. Okay, it has one specific purpose only. It has no other purpose. It is to train you in this kind of way. Okay, as a whole, whether it's a music industry, whether it's the government, whether it's the anything, whether it's everything, if you put together all the science they teach you, all the things they put in your head, everything is only for one purpose. Okay, so if you can't even hit out at that one purpose, then you are not like going against it. And people think that they're so against the system and everything, but they are not really, until they come to the core issue. They are not.
Maybe they expect also to see God in a different form than a human being. You know, often people, I think I was like that a lot. I was expecting maybe to see God in a different form, maybe
I mean,
like a
divine can be in any
giant
form.
or something, like
I mean,
something more
divine can be in any form, but the divine as can be any form. Like there is no limitation on divine. Like I mean, divine doesn't have limitations. Okay, so it can be in any form. Like it can take any form. It can take the whole form of, it can cover the whole sky, or yeah, it can. You know, there
this
is
is the
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, there is no limitation on it. Like I mean, why put limitations on what divine can do or can't do? Like it can do whatever. Like it can. I mean, for example, if something like a whole covers the whole sky, I mean, will people be more happy or listen to that? Okay, people might be more scared and run away. Like I mean, it's not necessary that people are going to listen to that, you know. Like I mean, and like the truthers right now will say that that is a hologram, and that's a um, that thing. I mean, so I mean, you can't please them any which way. I mean, you know, like I mean, there is no like I mean,
I
something can be said against anything, you know, like so.
you know what I see the divine
Yeah,
force a
yeah,
lot like. I see the divine force a lot like the wind. You can't see it, but you can
yeah.
feel it. And
Yes, yes.
if you're in tune, if your frequency is in tune, like when the wind come, it's gonna affect you. It's weird how it comes and propels
I
you.
mean, obviously, but you have to be open to it, but you can't be close to it. Like, you know, like, I mean, like pretty much right now, people think that, okay, like they're going to figure something out. They're going to figure this whole out without there's no higher divine force, you know, like people are not saying these things, then I'm going to align with the divine force. You know, I'm going to align with the divine. I'm going to align with the divine. People are not repeating these sentences, you know.
It's not
I
in
mean,
the speech.
yeah, yeah, and speech, I mean, people speak a lot of things on YouTube, and you see around the world now what people speak. Everybody can see that, but this sentence will not be spoken most of the time. Like, you know, like no one is gonna speak this sentence. Like, and I mean, and why are they not speaking that sentence? I mean, do you not want to align? Like, I mean, what do you exactly want to do? So you have to decide what you actually want to do, and you know, you speak and behave and do actions accordingly. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it. It's not gonna happen overnight. Also, your alignment. That's what I
yeah.
explain. Try to guide people into alignment. Most of it, like I'm trying to
But you
guide
start.
myself. But
But you start. But you have to have that intent first. You have to have that intent that I
oh,
want
yeah.
to. Yeah, I want to. And then you speak about that. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, actually, none of these truths are speaking about that, aligning with divine or anything like that. They don't care about that.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
shape of the earth is more important.
yeah. And I mean, my point is that like they don't care about those things. So, like, you have to first have this intent to actually align with it, because I mean, then what is the system about? System is about misaligning with it. So then you have to have a very clear opposite view than the system, and that is the real rebellion actually right now in these times. So
Because
yeah,
the divine force have understand itself before it started to create something here
yeah,
on earth.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So we have to understand our being before
yeah,
we start creating anything. So there's got to be an understanding. Look
yeah,
inside instead of
yeah,
always looking outside. And then
yeah,
because
yeah,
the divine
yeah.
force exactly wants you to know your being, to know who you are, to like I don't know. We
So
put
to
a
first know
mask
that
so much.
you to first know that you are a being. I
Yeah,
mean, I mean,
exactly.
like first know that. I mean, because I mean, like because most people don't even know that. Like, you know, they have no idea that they're a being. You know, like that's just not known. And the fact that the beings have different levels, that's not known. That you're a being is not known. That beings have different levels, that's not known. That there's different level of divine coherence in different beings, that's not known. None of these things, basic facts, are like known to people. Just like they know their name, they know their car, they know their house, they know their that thing, they know these things more, like, you
Yeah,
know.
most
So
people don't want to know more than they know at the moment to live a
yeah,
happy
yeah.
life. Like you have to want to learn and stuff. It's something you,
But happiness they don't have. Like happiness you can't have in this life. With those things people can't be happy. So if they were so happy, they won't need all these alcohol and these antidepressants and these pharmaceuticals and all these things, you know, like if they were happy, like they wouldn't have to be in such a miserable sort of state, like, you know, like, so happiness is totally far from people. Okay, like that is very, very far concept, like. So
but some people will pretend that they're happy, PT. Then you go ask
yeah,
them, you tell
yeah,
them that
they
they're
pretend, but
unhappy, and they're
yeah,
gonna tell you, I live a
but they're
happy life.
popping but they're popping a couple of pills, antidepressants too, like, you know, like
Yeah, they're
yeah, like
probably on pills or something, have
yeah,
smoked
yeah,
something.
yeah. And then people need all kind of drugs, and people need this thing, that they need marijuana to calm down, then they need some other thing to get up, like there's something, need some other thing to sleep, you know, like, you know. So like,
So,
I
an
mean, yeah,
indication that someone has inner happiness or inner bliss or something like that would be someone that is not also distracted and someone
yeah,
on track and someone on service of
yeah, yeah,
service.
yeah. And they won't be relying on all this things, like they won't be relying on all this pharma system and this like all these things
That's
like
it.
alcohol. And I mean, I mean, how many people are drinking alcohol even in Canada? Like, I mean, how many, like percentage,
It's
like,
terrible. You go in
yeah,
the store here, just in the village. They look.
yeah,
They have brought the SAQ, which is the big place here in Quebec, the government
yeah,
thing that takes care of the alcohol. They brought it
yes,
in the village. 5,000 people in the village here. Now we
yeah,
have the SAQ government alcohol office right in the grocery store with all the hard stuff.
yeah,
Like, what
yeah,
is
yeah,
that?
yeah. So
Put it
so
far, at least. Put it far, so people have to do an effort for their madness.
yeah, yeah. But
No, it's
I'm saying,
even
like,
no
if they're so
effort.
happy, then they won't need that, right?
Yeah.
So if they are so happy, all these people, you know, and like, and people are mostly like, happiness is a very far thing for people out there, because you are in all the system, you are in this thing, you are in all this trouble, and people are just continuously filling out forms and this thing and this thing and that thing, and you know, just survival itself is a problem. And the beings which like may have more like finances or whatever, they still have nothing else to do. They get bored, and then they get into drugs and all kinds of things, you know. And so it's like, overall, obviously happiness is not the thing here at all. I mean, people can pretend to just be functioning, you know, but even they can't pretend very well at that, like, you know, it's I mean, if you have some perception, you can see through all of that, like. So like, I mean, perception allows you to see through all of
Yeah.
pretension which people do. So yeah, so yeah,
Sometimes they will pretend also they happy, but there's all kinds of madness around, like very stressed out, very depressed, very on pills,
yeah,
alcohol, distraction. Like, and that's not
yeah,
happiness. Happiness is the
yeah.
road to higher and divine. At least you
The,
want to feel
the,
something.
Yeah, but happiness is very far from people. And like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
happiness only comes when you are actually evolving. Like
exactly.
happiness is only possible when you're evolving, because then you can be happy, okay, because you know that you're evolving, so are you feel good, like, like about that you're doing something right or good, and then
Like,
you are, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
very happy to be here with you.
yeah, yeah,
Can I
yeah,
say this?
yes,
Does it make
yeah,
sense? Does it resonate?
yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's what happiness is only possible when one is evolving. Okay, there is no other time happiness is possible.
okay,
Okay, like that's an impossibility that you can be happy while, like, it's because happiness is about that feeling only which you feel, okay, you are rising. That feeling of rising and raising is happiness. Okay, there is,
okay,
it is the name for that feeling. Okay, happiness is the name for that feeling only.
okay.
So nothing else can be called happiness, and it's not happiness. And I mean, it's more
Makes
pain and
sense.
torture. And yeah, so like, we clear the definition of happiness here, like,
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
I think you gave me a lot of clarity, and to other people too, I'm sure. Next,
Yeah,
the judges of greatness. I love that one. Woo! This one is a rewind. The judges of greatness. Yeah, yeah. The stars, the moon, the sun. We
yeah,
have a conception, but there's a lot of. I think we judge each other way too much. We crucify each other on the public place, which is
yeah, yeah,
crazy. But
yeah,
the judges, the real judges of greatness, go into nature, connect with nature, right, PT?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, judges of greatness in the sense that, like, people think that they can judge greatness out there. That's why, like, they have put so many false idols on screen and on stage and all of that, so people think that that's great, or that was great, and this was great, and but there was nothing great there actually. It was all nonsense. But like, they find nonsense great, like, anybody who's doing more nonsense is more great, because they're doing more nonsense than other people, like, so like, so that these parameters of greatness also are again need to be looked into, what people, and obviously because it's disconnected with nature, so their parameters of greatness will always be very unnatural and very nonsensical. So that's what happens in this world. You can see that everywhere, like, people
Like,
find that, okay,
I
yeah,
see greatness in people, but often the greatness turn into madness because the heart is twisted and like the heart is
yeah.
shut, the mind is a
Well,
lot
madness is
confused.
considered greatness. Madness is considered greatness. The more mad a person
Okay,
is,
that's it. That's it.
the more great it is considered, like, so if somebody's going mad on stage more than you can, then you think, oh, this person is so great because
Yeah.
it's going more mad than I am, like, so, like,
Ah,
yeah, yeah.
that's the
So
conditioning, the thinking.
yeah, 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 yeah. So
And
so
then,
so,
yeah, we see people and we think they're great, but often open the TV. Most of the time, you see
yeah,
the wicked being rewarded on TV.
yeah. But I mean, obviously, like, if anybody undergoes pain and torture, people will see it. Like, it's like it's almost like, where people like to see others suffering. So whosoever is suffering on stage, then people
Yeah,
clap for it. It's a sadistic kind of thing. It's a more sadistic kind of
yeah, because
situation. All, yeah,
PT, why
yeah,
everybody feels weird with public speaking? Explain that to me. Why everyone pretty much before getting on stage feels weird, have nervousness, this is not normal. This is not
because
galaxic feelings.
they're not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be there. They have nothing to
Come
say.
on, PT. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, yeah. Because they're not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be saying those things, or they have nothing to say. Like, I mean, really, I mean, they have
Yeah.
got nothing to say, but they've been put there. So obviously, like, you will feel nervous and stuff, because you're not supposed to be doing that thing. You know, like, if you actually have something to do, like, that's where, like, people will obviously feel they're doing something wrong. Because their inner feeling will be there that you are doing something wrong by going up there. Like, and that different from all the people who are down there, or you don't actually know anything more than those people down there, but you still are on that pedestal and that podium and that thing, and now you have to speak, and now you have to make something up, and say something, and that stuff, like, I mean, it's a tough thing to do, and it's not natural, and it's obviously creates tension, and it creates this feeling of, like, anxiety.
And
And
anxiety.
Yeah. Yes,
No,
yes.
because I was wondering. I'm like, because I hear that from a lot of people. They say they're nervous before getting on stage and everything. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what?
but don't go. I mean, who's telling you to? I mean, where is who's telling you to do that? I mean, who's telling you to go out there and do that? I mean, you don't have to get on stages if you're not meant to be, and if you don't know, if you don't have some clarity, you only have to go on stage. Like if you make an announcement or something, you have to make an announcement only when you're clear about something. Okay, people, this is this. Okay, flood is coming, or this is fire is happening, or something, some fact you are clear about,
Factual.
and which you
That's it.
which you want to be inform people about, like, or something which you have very clear that I figured out this. You're giving a solution. Otherwise, what's the point of you going on stage of any kind on this world? Like, there is no point exactly. But I mean, that has become like a profession now. you know it's not a it's a
So many speakers today, motivational speakers and stuff like that. There is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's all came from this music industry. I mean, people got on stage with the, I mean, they were the original motivational speakers and all of that. I mean, they are the people who are, like, there with the things. And I mean, and they don't know why they are there. And then a lot of them start like, and all of their lives are very undisciplined. And there's the people who are taking more drugs and drinking more alcohol or smoking more pot, or like, those people are doing, the ones who are on stage have to do it even more, than normal people. Like, so, like, it's a very,
I
very,
see.
yeah,
Great.
yeah,
So the other one after was greater than God, but we've touched a bit the topic just earlier. We said it. The people, it's solved in their mind. They're greater than God. So divine
yeah,
and praising and serving higher and divine and getting on your knees and stuff like that.
yeah,
It's far from their mind
yeah,
even. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so you have to want to have some kind of salvation, redemption. I don't know if it's the word, but
yeah,
there is something you have to repent.
yeah,
Repent,
yeah.
serpent, repent,
Yeah.
serpent.
Re-
I don't know.
Repent means like you have to get towards a right attitude, the
Yeah.
correct
Great
attitude.
attitude. Take
E-
out
e-
attitude.
e- yeah, even if you have wrong attitude before, doesn't matter as long as you are ready to change that.
Exactly.
It does not matter what was there, like, as long as you're ready to change. So it's a, and it takes sort of like that courage to do that first. So like,
Yeah, because like you say here also, it's the ability to recognize the divine into someone. Like I recognize it in you big
yeah,
time.
yeah. But for
Like, I
that,
mean,
one should go into nature first. If one connects with nature, then it's easier to recognize anything. Like, for beings who connect with nature, it's easier to recognize divine. Okay, but do beings who do not connect with nature at all, for them it will be tougher. Okay, so
like
yeah,
people should get in front of a being like you and seriously just listen. That's what I
yeah,
would do. Like if I would not know you, if I would
yeah,
not know you, and I would get to, I would just, man, I would be like, I would just listen to your words because you're so clear and so. If I to express what I think about you, PT, really, and express it in English, I would have to read some of the comments because it really resonates with me. And people are, yeah, for sure, acknowledging the fact that you are very divine. And that's so,
the point is that it's for the people who acknowledge that are the ones who are really concerned about their evolution. Okay, finally, people have to be concerned about their evolution. If they're concerned about their evolution, then they will do the thing. If beings are not really concerned about what happens to them, then that's where the problem lies. First you have to become concerned. I think there is a epilogue about, like my book,
yeah,
concerned.
yeah,
Like, you have to
concern. It's
become,
in there. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, you have to become concerned about your own future. you know and your present and future both. You have to be concerned about that. I mean, that sense of concern has to come, like, because most people have this sense of concern only, like, okay, if I grow old, then I'll get my, whether I'll get my pension or not.
Yeah, yeah.
you
The
know
concern is
yeah,
there. If the check's coming in or if I have enough job to, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they have concern like that. That's also future concern. It's okay to have some future concern like that. Okay, but that's not the end of it. That's not which is going to save you or create anything good for you. Like, your check is not going to stop a disease from happening to you. It's not going to stop your mind from going crazy. It's not going to stop your memory to go. It's not going to stop so many things. Like, so the concern should be something more holistic. than just survival through money.
Yeah, the first concern is for your own body. Often the body, we trash it with so much
Yeah,
nonsense. That's not first of all, the first thing the divine wants you to do is take care of your body. If not,
yeah,
that's your vehicle. That's what you should have maintenance for, and
yeah,
change the oil and all that stuff. That's the
yeah.
body.
Yes, body.
That's what the
Yeah,
divine wants us to do at first, and
yeah,
really be
yeah,
strong within ourselves, and so that we can raise our voice and reach others with our vibration. The
yeah.
vibration is there.
Yeah,
So
because it's a body, mind, spirit thing.
yeah,
So obviously you have to have concern about all three in total, but starting with the body first, obviously.
yeah.
So yeah,
Temples, temples. I think we have a bit of but again, it's normal. It's normal in our world to find temples outside of ourselves, outside of our bodies,
yeah,
because we're not too much inside of ourselves. So we're more projecting on the outside. So we find all kinds of temples, but
yeah.
this is
Because
called
it takes
temple, I
it
think.
takes discipline. Because why we people do that is because it takes discipline to take care of your own body. It takes discipline, right?
Yeah.
To go to some outside temple doesn't take much discipline. You just go out there and you just like a tourist, you visit that. Okay, it doesn't. You can be in any which way. You can just go out there, and it eliminates the need for discipline or daily discipline. And you'll go once in a while to the temple, so that's fine. You know, body you'll have to take care of daily, right? So so body is much more tougher. Like, so people like to take the easier way out. They think it's the easier way out, like to once in a while go to some kind of temple, church, or whatever, mosque, or whatever they call it. There are different kind of temples. There are Jewish temples, this thing, that thing, whatever, synagogues, whatever they call. So those things, so they find it easy to go once in a while to some structure than actually dealing with the discipline of your own body. Right? Like, I mean, it's easier, it seems easier to them to just pay a visit there sometimes, which is like a tourist, you can do that. I mean, and you're used to paying visit to school, university, offices, um, these kind of, you're used to these visits anyways, so this is one more visit like that. So yeah,
Exactly. You visit stuff outside of yourself always, and
yeah,
that's, I think,
yeah,
the highest temple, the most inspiring temple you'll ever enter is the your head.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why these are temple bones. These called temple bones.
Yeah.
These bones are called temple. This is called your temple, like. So
I don't know. We
yeah,
can have a great
yeah,
inspiration once we tap into it for sure. And
yeah,
the next term here you go with is holy, HOLY, and holy, because I think this is again conditioning to create. Holy sounds like a hole. There's a hole, there's something is missing. There's a hole. But when
yeah,
you're whole, then easier to connect also once you feel the
yeah. I mean,
wholeness.
that's a deliberate thing. That taking out a W is
Yeah.
a deliberate thing. Like if the W was there, then everybody would understand. Holy means whole. Okay, with a whole, 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 not HOLE, whole. Okay, so people would understand that. But if the W you take out, then you take out that from the consciousness. So like if at school if you learn that word holy with W, then you will have a different picture of that word. Okay, what it means. Yeah,
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 I have something to ask you because I see it here. You're mentioning Hollywood, not Hollywood, not Hollywood. But now there's a phenomena that's happening in India, and that's where you're from, and it's Bollywood, and there's a massive, massive amount of movies
yeah.
coming out of India. Like,
Yeah, it has been happening for last 30, 40 years. Yeah, but the thing is that like it is just another kind of nonsense. In every country they create some sort of to keep people distracted and
yeah,
entertainment,
entertain,
guise of entertainment.
entertain.
Yeah, entertainment, that people be distracted and nonsense be showed to them so that they don't learn anything, they don't get anything, and all the value system in it will be all nonsensical, nothing, no movement towards higher and divine basically in it. So that kind of thing, that's Bolly. Like, I mean, it is just like Hollywood did it for the West. Bollywood is doing it for Indian subcontinent and other areas. It's I mean, it's been going on for a while, and It's all about gracelessness. It's about putting gracelessness on screen so that people copy that and become
Okay.
graceless in their own being. Okay,
Exactly.
which is the same process which is happening all around the earth. Like, so it's all happening all over. So like it's
Yeah.
programming people. Yeah,
But I found that interesting because it's not just a little bit of movie production. It's huge. It seems to be very huge, the movie thing in India. You
yeah,
see a lot online. It's I was like,
yeah.
wow,
Maybe
because
it's so huge because the thing is when people's lives, normal lives, become very dull and uninspiring, then they need more fantasy, right?
uh, that's it.
Okay, when your normal life becomes very dull and uninspiring, then you need fantasy to somehow that thing, because your life is so tough, and so you need just an escape. So these movies are made as like an escape for 2.5, 3 hours. Like they're very long as well. They're not 1.5 hours. They're 2.5 hours, and
Yeah.
that thing is so that people can escape into some parallel reality or strange that thing for a while, like so that it's an escapism. It's a kind of drug, like
Yeah.
which is, yeah, like which people fall prey to because they cannot cope with their actual life. They can't cope with the facts of their own existence right now, which when they look at their own existence, they don't feel so good. They feel bad. Okay, and they don't know what to do about it, how to improve their situation. So instead of improving their situation, they fall prey to this fantasy which is shown on the screen. So for 3 hours you can forget about your life, and go into a parallel universe,
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, where nothing
Next,
will
you
make
go
sense.
with, huh?
Yeah, and nothing makes sense out there. In that movies, like every 10 minutes, things are just changing into, like, it's like a dream. In a dream, one thing happens, another thing happens. There's no coherent structure to it. It's not like it makes sense from 5 minutes to 5 minutes to 5 minutes. It's like that, and they make it like a dream only, and that's why it's called DreamWorks, isn't it? In the West, that
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
It's like,
DreamWorks. Yeah.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
one
yeah,
of the movie production
yeah,
people.
yeah, 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 yeah,
No, it's all to manufacture some kind of fake reality, for sure. We know
yeah,
it, but I
yeah.
found that very interesting because India seems to be a very big producer lately of movies. So
I
and
mean, but there's other woods as well in India. Like there's Tollywood, Collywood, all kinds of things. There are a lot of other
mm,
ones too. So it's not just that. Like, so, like
but
there's
to
a lot
have
of.
that much movie, that there's got to be a market. I mean, people consume that stuff. So the movie thing in
I mean,
India,
it's
people
reducing
must
now. I
consume
mean,
it a lot.
I mean, people were but like since now YouTube is coming, it'll be less. You know, this is
Okay.
it'll be less because the thing is in India and stuff right now, people had just got an internet which they can use. Internet was very costly out there, so
Okay,
people could
so
not.
that's why also the amount of movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the internet was not usable. Now only like in a year or two, last year or two, more internet is getting there, so people can watch YouTube videos and everything. So once that starts happening, it'll reduce. It'll
Exactly.
reduce.
It's gonna
Yeah,
purge the movie thing very.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah.
here that's what happened. Look, the internet came. People don't go rent movies and video place no more. Like we,
Yeah.
it seems like
In
we have
80s,
switched our viewing habits a bit to
yeah, yeah. I
not
mean, from
only.
80s, 90s, people were going to the buying videos and that thing and stuff. Nobody does it anymore.
No, no,
You
it's
know.
finished. The video stores, forget about that. They're gone.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is it's changed in the West. In India, it took longer because the internet was not so easy to access. They were charging more. Mobile phone companies were charging more money per like data for data, how much
Yeah,
data you have to use.
that's it.
So like unlimited data wasn't there. So like
Very
that
hard
kind
to
of,
access easily.
yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
now unlimited data is coming now. So then they can switch to actual YouTube and stuff. So yeah,
exactly. We're gonna probably finish soon, but maybe one or two more. Religion. You have touched a bit the subject. The topic. We talked about God and divine, but here you say when God divine appears in flesh and blood in front of a person, and they just run towards a structure. That's what we said. Uh,
yeah,
that's might not be the right option.
yeah. I mean the structure thing. I mean that's just their programming to go towards the structure.
Yeah.
People. worship structures. Okay, I mean, why do people go to cities and stuff? Like, like people go to Chicago, then they want to see the Sears Tower, or if they want to go to New York, they want to go to Manhattan. People are worshiping big structures. Like, people like to worship whatever. Like, that's what the whole thing about cities is, isn't it? Like, the charm of cities for people is big structures. So so that they have equated with the god and divine, like, is big structures, which but maybe god and divine might not have anything to do with big structures. They
Exactly.
might, they've not like
That,
put that, like, yeah. And
that's why
in
also
people,
the sports is always in big stadium, like
big
the
stadiums,
hockey
yes,
place is always big arenas with all
yeah,
kinds of lights and stuff, and
yeah.
it's yeah.
It's an uncomfortable place, obviously. Big place also, but it's concrete. You go and sit on a hard surface, you get all those lights. It's not pleasant. None of those big places are pleasant for your body or your system or anything. It's nothing pleasant. Okay. So that's, people don't understand that. People don't understand the sense of pleasantness and unpleasantness. Okay. So big is good. Doesn't matter if it's unpleasant. Okay.
The
So like,
mind
if,
is pleased because the mind is distracted and wants to be
yeah,
distracted. But
yeah,
your
yeah,
body, your
yeah.
interior, your vibe is not pleased at all by the what's happening in distraction
I
for
mean,
sure.
that's why, like, in US Open, people go and sit in US Open, for example.
Yeah.
Like, it's concrete, it's very big concrete structure and stuff like that. And it's very hot at the time in New York. And, like, so you have to sit on this concrete stuff and plastic chairs, and in a hot weather, very hot. Everything is really hot. I mean, it cannot be pleasant for you to sit on those things. I mean, you'll burn, like, your skin out there. And it's still, people are sitting there, and they actually pay money to go there. I mean, that's very surprising, because mostly they should ask money to go there, because you're actually like putting yourself through some torture out there, basically. So they should be giving you money to go there, actually. But people actually pay the tickets to, like, actually go there, and that's quite surprising. Like, it's
Oh, that's quite surprising. Sometimes the amount of money we pay to be distracted and to not face the reality of our being, that's tragic. That's what's
yeah,
happening on.
to torture your body, actually. You're just going there to torture yourself. It's not
Oh, yeah.
even action. Yeah, you're actually torturing yourself.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, obviously, the players and stuff, they are playing on hard court, and hard court is the worst for your body to run around on a hard surface. I mean, and there can't be anything but they'll always have new operations and 100 operations and stuff like that. The players and stuff, and you'll just be sitting in the hot and getting fried out there, and on the concrete, hot concrete, like, and concrete gets even hotter, than any. So even these structures, they don't make these structures in any way for human beings to be comfortable. Okay, none of these structures are made for the comfort of the human body in mind. They don't have that in, like,
And
yeah,
that's what you say about hotels, five-star hotels. Later, we'll touch that topic.
yeah,
But that's all. I always felt weird inside hotels. You feel stuck. You feel like, I don't know, there's something very unnatural, very unfractal. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
that's it.
so so these are things, like, so people have been made to worship these structures, and so their god is these structures, just like money is their god and the structures are their god. Like, all these things are their god, actually. So
And then you see them coming in the hotel with their children, and the children are all excited to be in an hotel. Like you see the conditioning, it
yeah,
starts
yeah,
young.
yes, yeah, yeah. The structure worship. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
thank you very much, PT. It was an honor again to have you. Like it goes so fast, an hour with you. I would, like I say, I would wake up each and every day 5 a.m. if it's to be with you anytime. No
yes,
problem there. So thank you
yes,
very much, and thank you everyone also in. But there's nobody in the chat. I turned it off because we want focus. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what we need,
yeah,
more focus, laser focus. And we
yes,
will come back most probably next Wednesday unless PT is traveling
yeah,
somewhere. But
yeah,
that's it. You'll let me know, I guess, if
yeah.
something.
No problems, no problems. Like,
So
it's
thank you very much. Greetings, everyone. And we see you again next Strong Wednesday.
okay.
Perfect. See ya. Boom.